Say thank you so very much to the Imam, Dr. Suhail, and the entire board, and all of you here today for giving me the privilege and the honor of speaking with you. Let me start, since we started on the war on terror and some of the global issues, let me start by saying, as a very young man, I left home and left this country to fly into Saudi Arabia and ultimately into Kuwait to defend the Kuwaiti people. As you know, as history has written, the Iraq occupied Kuwait and was responsible for some very heinous crimes against the people of Kuwait. And although I never knew any of the Kuwaitis before I had gotten there, I was raised a Christian. I was raised a Roman Catholic. And like your faith, I was taught to defend human life, even with my own. And that's why I was so passionate about my experience in the Marine Corps and my time during the war. And I stand here before you today telling you that I was willing to risk my life then for the freedoms of the Kuwaiti people. And I am still to this day willing to risk my life for the freedoms of all people. And the one thing that is very easy for many to forget, we all came from somewhere, most, unless you're an American Indian, but we all came from somewhere to enjoy the freedoms and liberties and opportunities that the United States represents. And I believe, without any doubt at all, no doubt, that all of you in this room, whether you were born here, or whether it was your parents that came here, or whether it was your grandparents that came here, or whether it was you that came to America, you came here to build a better life for your families. And you cannot build a better life for your families without peace. So there is no doubt in my mind that you're here today for peace. And I stand with you, but I need you to know that I recognize that. And yes, there may be some colleagues that don't fully understand the need for a partnership between all Muslims, especially Muslim Americans, and everyone else. I recognize my own limitations. God has gifted me with so much. My health, a family that cared for me, a country that gave me the opportunity to be educated and to do things that I never dreamed that I could ever do. But I am limited in what I can accomplish, and that's why I need the help of every single person in this room. I am willing to work with you, and at the same time work for you. As your elected representative in Washington, I work for you. I am there to represent your needs, to represent your family's needs, and to ensure that you have everything that every other American has. So not only do I stand with you in peace with our global war against terror, which mostly, from where we stand, is we are thankful to God we are not on the battlefield. It is incumbent upon us to spread the word and to educate, because terrorism is based in ignorance, as we all know. And it's through education, through love, and through sharing that we're going to overcome it. With that, I will work with you. But there are also many other issues that I know are near and dear to your hearts and are very important. Many of you are businessmen. Many of you have wives and children right here in Staten Island. Their safety, the business state that your individual business is in, whether it's prosperous, whether it's growing, those are equally important to me. I want to make sure that you have open to you and available to you all of the resources that I can possibly bring from the congressional office. I truly hope that I can get to know you, get to know a little bit about your family, more about your culture, and more about your businesses and your desires, your dreams. Because to me, that's what America represents. The American dream is different for everyone, but it's still about the opportunities and the dreams that we have, maybe not even for ourselves, but for our children. My father had many dreams for me, very few for himself. He worked 3 jobs, night and day, and I didn't get to spend much time with my father because he was always working. But he could not read or write. He did not have education. So his #1 dream was for his children to be educated, so that I would not have to work with my back and my hands the way he did his entire life until the day he died. My father was my hero. Next to God, he was my hero. And he always will be. But he taught me very early on that I had to work hard and I had to have respect. Those are the 2 most important things that I learned growing up, from both my mother and my father. And when I say respect, I don't have to speak about working hard, because I know how everyone in this room works extremely hard to achieve your version of the American dream. But respect, the way I was brought up, was first, respect for God, respect for family, respect for ourselves, respect for our neighbors. That is something that is in my blood. It's the way I was raised, and I will never change. That I can promise you. And no matter where God takes me on my journey, whether it be in Congress or somewhere else in the government or in private industry, I will not forget the values that I was raised with. And I believe God has given me many, many blessings, and it is an honor to stand here before you today with your imam and the blessings of your board to say, rely on me, get to know me. I have a wonderful staff that works very hard, and I think together we can make the quality of life for you and your families better. That's ultimately my goal as your congressman, to address your needs, your concerns, whether they be for your family, or for your business, or for you personally. Of course, I'm not a miracle worker, so I'm limited by my own human limitations. But I can assure you that I'm a very hard worker. And I am open-minded, and I actively listen. So when I say to you that I'd like to get to know you, your families, more about your culture and your business, it's with sincerity that I make that offer. And I do hope that you will take me up on that, because I know that, like every constituent in Staten Island and Brooklyn, whether it be the Irish Catholics or the Italians or those of the Jewish faith, we all share the same common values, the same desire for peace, for love, and for our families and children to have more than we have.